This is a demonstration how the supplier access works in Look Fashion Cloud Platform. First, I will log in as a user manager of the solution. In this case, after I log into the workspace, the first thing we have to do is invite the suppliers. Suppliers are actually users of the systems. So in my case, I will just go to my workspace. And in here we have an option to invite the supplier. The only thing you need is the email address and then the permission sets here that you have to create before inviting the suppliers. So here I create a supplier access permission set. Of course, this is actually the details of the information you want to share with them. For example, they want to access their own styles, the orders coming from the ERP, orders created in Look Fashion Cloud Platform. So there are many options here that are important to mention. So in order to do that, you need to go to permission set. And in here we have the supplier permission set that you can see I have some apps they will access. For example, the alerts, the B1 purchase orders, the styles, my BP access. This is actually the most important app because they can access the information about the styles, costing scenarios, samples, and activities. So that's actually the most important app in the system. And then we have my activities. If you want to share activities with the suppliers, they will access their own activities. B1 business one purchase orders, request for quotation, samples, and their own styles. So of course, most of the apps here will not be they will not make any sense to assign to use to suppliers. So you have to invite the suppliers with the permission set assigned based on your needs. And then, of course, if we look for a style, okay, and in here, it's the most important option here in the style. Okay, I think products. We will just look for a product that we have an example. I think it was called this one here, for example. Okay, so the first thing you have to do as a user is assign the supplier to the collaboration panel. Okay, so here my shirt is actually assigned to China factory. Okay, so this is my factory. So once I add the user, the factory to the style, they will access the style information. Of course, if you assign the My Style application to the supplier, they will actually have permission to change the information. But if the style is shared with the supplier and you assign a different app, for example, My Business Partner Access app, the information will be limited to change by the supplier. Okay, so that's an option. Secondly, if you want to share samples, okay, if you go to sample, it's the same thing. Okay, so you have to actually access the sample, and in the sample, see, this is actually shared with the supply factory. Okay, so as you know, after you create the sample and it's assigned to the supplier, because it's actually created for the supplier, they will be accessing this sample request. Okay. So same for everything. If there is an activity assigned to the supplier, they will access that information in the portal. Okay. So there are many apps that actually are important for the supplier access. Of course, most important would be the purchase order. Okay. So let's go to my purchase orders, and then again we have Look purchase order actually are synced to the ERP. In this case, this is the option. And also we have B1 purchase order that actually are created in Business One. No information is stored in Look. So these are the two options that we have for POs. We have costing scenarios that actually are triggered from the style, and then we have the samples. I think that those are the most important documents that you can share with the suppliers, along with the tech packs and style information, of course. So in my case, if I go to my PO, okay, and this is the look PO, and if I click in the style information, as you can see, this is the supplier code, but actually the supplier code in the ERP in this case. So this is an example. And of course that this is the content of the order, okay? And then there are options here. For example, messaging, if you want to send a message to the supplier about this PO. These are the permission that the supplier has over the PO. For example, they will allow to change prices, they will allow to change dates and the quantities, they will allow to add comments in this specific order. Okay. And we also have an ERP status. This is the order in SAP. Okay. This is okay. Okay, so that PO, because it's assigned to the supplier, okay, we just managed to have this access to the supplier because they have access to the look PO. Okay, so again, once I have that information and the supplier, of course, accepts the invitation and they create their own users, that's actually part of the process. After they are invited, I will log in as a supplier and you will see that the supplier access is a limited option, of course. So my this is my supplier access. This is my factory in China. Of course, they will access only the workspace that I share with them. And in here, we have the supplier access. Okay, so we have options to access their own samples. Okay, this is the main option, business partner access. If I click in here and I go to my product list, you can see that they only access the style that you share with them. That's most important. So if, for example, the supplier wants to download the tech pack or add a comment to the style, so that's more a limited option of having their own style access. Okay, so for example, you see they cannot change information on the general information. They can access the tech pack from here. Okay, they can access their sample requests, the costing scenarios, okay, and their own activities. Okay. So this is one app. The other option is my samples. Okay, again, this is another app. You can see that they access two sample requests, and if there is a business one connection, okay, they can actually, if you look here, it will connect to business one and they will access their own purchase order in the system. Okay, so this is a direct connection to SAP Business One. So if I access the order, okay, again it connects and retrieves the information in SAP, and you can change the information. Of course, there are more limited options for the supplier. For example, if you want to change the delivery date of the order, but as you can see, they cannot change the quantities and anything else here. The other option is purchase orders. Okay, so you have the PO that actually are created for the supplier. Okay, and again, they can, for example, enter a comment. Okay, they can actually log in here and say this order is coming late, and that information, if they have access, okay, the C factory is actually communicating to the buyer that actually the order is coming late to the factory. They can print the order and then have the log with the information provided. So that's basically a small demonstration how the supplier can collaborate with the buyers. There's also a shipment app that is actually not in here. But in future versions, we will provide shipments up to the supplier to update shipment information and containers.